Hi, everyone. It's such a lovely day to have you here with us. I'm Charlotte, and welcome back to Speak Power Daily. Today, I want to share something that feels simple, yet can change the direction of your entire life. It is the idea of improving just 1% every day. When you hear 1%, it may sound too small, almost invisible. But that is exactly the magic. Small things grow quietly, like a seed under the soil. You do not see the roots at first, but something powerful is happening. I want you to imagine this. You wake up tomorrow and decide to make a tiny improvement. Maybe you learn one new English phrase. Maybe you drink one more glass of water. Maybe you do 1 minute of meditation. That is it. 1 minute, one step. It does not look impressive, but it is a beginning. And beginnings are more important than perfection. We often wait for the right moment to start something. We want the perfect schedule, the perfect motivation, or the perfect mood. But life does not usually give us perfect moments. It gives us opportunities, and sometimes they are hidden inside small actions. The 1% rule teaches us that progress does not require giant leaps. It requires consistency. It requires showing up, even when the step feels small. When I was learning a new skill, I noticed something interesting. If I tried to study for hours, I would burn out quickly. But if I practiced for just a few minutes each day, something changed. My confidence grew, my understanding deepened, and I started looking forward to the practice instead of avoiding it. This is the quiet strength of small, daily improvements. Think about your English journey. You do not need to memorize a dictionary today. You do not need perfect grammar right now. You only need your next 1%. Maybe that is listening to this episode. Maybe it is repeating a sentence aloud. Maybe it is choosing one word and using it later in a conversation. These small actions build something much bigger: momentum. Momentum is powerful because it turns effort into habit, and habit turns into identity. One day, you simply realize, I am someone who improves every day. You start trusting yourself. You start believing you can grow, even when the process feels slow. And that belief can take you further than talent, luck, or motivation. So let this part of our journey be a warm invitation. You do not have to transform your life today. You only need to begin. You only need 1%. And I am here with you, step by step, ready to help you grow in a way that feels natural, encouraging, and absolutely possible. When we think about improving our lives, we often imagine dramatic changes. We picture waking up at 5 a.m. every day, studying for hours, exercising like an athlete, or suddenly transforming into a highly disciplined person. But real change rarely happens this way. It grows through tiny wins, the kind that almost feel too small to celebrate. Yet these small wins are exactly what build momentum. Imagine you're pushing a heavy cart. At first, it barely moves. You try again, and maybe it moves just a little, almost nothing. But that tiny movement is progress. If you keep pushing, even with small steps, the cart begins to roll. And once it starts rolling, everything becomes easier. 1% daily improvement works the same way. It reduces the weight of starting. It replaces pressure with consistency. Let us use English learning as an example. Many learners feel frustrated because they want fast results. They want to speak fluently now. They want to understand everything immediately. But fluency is not a switch. It is a collection of small habits that add up over time. Reading one short paragraph, listening to a 3-minute audio, learning a new phrase. These may not feel powerful in the moment, but they accumulate quietly. They build your language muscles day by day. Think of a simple micro-habit. reading one English sentence every morning. It takes less than a minute, but it sends a message to your brain. It says, "I am someone who practices English." That identity is much stronger than motivation because identity stays even when motivation disappears. You do not need to be perfect every day. You only need to show up in a small, honest way. Here is the beautiful part. Tiny wins create feelings of success, and success is addictive. When you complete a small habit, your brain gives you a small reward, a little spark of pride. That spark makes the next step easier, the next habit lighter, the next improvement more enjoyable. Soon, the 1% becomes 2, then 3, and slowly your confidence grows like a steady flame. You can also apply this to other areas of your life. Want to exercise more? Start with 2 minutes. Want to read more books? Read 1 page. Want to organize your space? Clean 1 small corner. These actions may look simple, but they are seeds. And seeds do not need to be big to grow into something meaningful. They just need consistency. So if you ever feel overwhelmed by the distance between where you are and where you want to be, remember this. You do not need to leap across the distance. You only need to take 1 more small step. 1% more courage, 1% more effort, 1% more belief in your own growth. And day by day, those tiny wins begin to carry you forward. There is something special that happens when a small action becomes part of your daily rhythm. At first, every new habit feels like a guest you are trying to welcome into your home. You prepare space, you feel a little awkward, and everything requires extra effort. But with time, that guest becomes part of your routine. You no longer need to think about it. It simply belongs. This is the heart of turning 1% improvements into lasting habits. When people imagine discipline, they often think of strict rules and hard routines. But discipline can actually be gentle. It can be friendly. It can be a soft promise that you make to yourself each day. It starts with choosing a small action, something so easy that you cannot find an excuse to skip it. Maybe it is 5 minutes of listening practice. Maybe it is writing 1 short sentence in English. Maybe it is reviewing 1 vocabulary word. The key is to keep it small, almost effortless. Our brains love patterns. When you repeat an action regularly, even a tiny one, your brain starts to recognize it as part of your identity. It becomes something you do, not something you have to force. And once a habit becomes part of your identity, it becomes much easier to maintain. Let me share a little analogy. Think of your habits as bricks. 1 brick is not impressive. It is just a small piece. But if you place 1 brick every day, slowly and quietly, you will eventually build a strong wall. You will look back and realize that what seemed impossible was actually created through small, consistent steps. This is what happens with your English learning, your mindset, your health, or any goal you have. Sometimes people ask me, "Charlotte, what do I do on days when I feel tired or unmotivated?" My answer is simple. Do your 1%. You do not need to do more. Just complete the small action, even if it feels imperfect. This keeps your habit alive. It tells your mind, "I am someone who keeps going." And that message is powerful. The truth is, the hardest part of any habit is not the action itself. It is starting. Once you start, even for a few minutes, you break the resistance. It is like opening a door that felt stuck, and every time you open it, it becomes easier to open again. Remember that you are not competing with anyone. You are building a better version of yourself, quietly and patiently. Celebrate the small wins. Be proud of the tiny steps. They are shaping you in ways you may not see yet, but you will feel them later. Your habits are the foundation of your future success, and 1% every day is enough to build something truly meaningful. There is a moment in every journey when small improvements begin to connect, like tiny pieces of a puzzle finally forming a clear picture. This is the power of compounding, and it is one of the most beautiful rewards of the 1% philosophy. Compounding means that your progress builds on top of your previous progress, and suddenly the results feel bigger, stronger, and more visible. When you learn one new English word every day, at first it feels like nothing. But after 30 days, you have 30 new words. After 90 days, you have 90. And after a year, you have enough vocabulary to express ideas that once felt impossible. You did not achieve this with a single big effort. You achieved it by adding small pieces that slowly built something powerful. Compounding also affects your mindset. When you choose to think 1% more positively each day, your mind becomes softer, calmer, and more confident. You begin to trust yourself. You stop giving up so easily. You start seeing challenges as opportunities instead of problems. A strong mindset is not built overnight. It is built through repeated moments of courage, patience, and self-kindness. One of the wonderful things about compounding is that it surprises you. You may feel like nothing is happening at first. You may feel slow, uncertain, or even frustrated. But then you look back and realize how far you have come. You understand things you could not understand before. You handle situations that once scared you. You communicate in English with more fluidity and much less fear. Growth often feels invisible while it is happening, but it becomes obvious when you look behind you. Think of yourself as someone climbing a long staircase. When you look up, the top seems very far away. But each step you take matters. Each step brings you higher. The height increases slowly, but one day, you turn around and realize you have climbed much more than you thought. This is why consistency is more important than intensity. Consistency allows compounding to work. It gives your small efforts the time they need to grow into something meaningful. So keep adding your tiny steps. Keep choosing the small improvements. Your future self will look back with gratitude and say, "Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for showing up, even when it felt small." If you're listening to this right now, I want you to pause for a moment and appreciate something important. You have already begun your journey. By exploring the idea of 1% improvement, you have taken a quiet but powerful step toward a better version of yourself. And that is exactly what this final part is about. Becoming the kind of person who grows a little every day in a way that feels natural, simple, and deeply meaningful. There is a beautiful truth hidden inside small daily actions. They shape who you are becoming. Every time you choose a tiny improvement, you send a message to yourself. I care about my growth. Even if the action looks small, the identity behind it becomes strong. You become someone who keeps promises to yourself, someone who moves forward with patience, someone who knows that growth does not need to be loud to be real. The 1% mindset is not about perfection. It is not about extreme discipline or dramatic changes. It is about creating a life where progress feels gentle and possible. You do not need to chase huge goals every day. You only need to move slightly closer to the person you want to be. That small shift, repeated over and over, becomes a powerful force. Think about your English learning journey. Imagine yourself in the future, more confident, more fluent, more comfortable expressing your ideas. That future version of you is not born from one big study session. It is created from all the tiny moments you choose to practice, to listen, to read, to try again even when you feel nervous. That future version is built 1% at a time. Your mindset grows the same way. When you choose a small positive thought instead of a negative one, you strengthen your inner voice. When you choose patience over frustration, you make space for clarity. When you choose to believe in your ability to improve, even just a little, you make your path smoother. These small choices are like drops of water filling a glass. One drop seems small, but many drops create something full and meaningful. Before we close, I want you to remember one simple message. You are allowed to grow slowly. Slow progress is still progress, and slow progress is often the kind that lasts. Be gentle with yourself. Celebrate your tiny wins. Trust your small steps. They are creating a future you cannot fully see yet, but you will feel it soon. So as you move forward today, take a deep breath and choose your next 1%. It can be a simple action, a single sentence, a small habit, or a tiny moment of courage. Whatever it is, let it bring you closer to the best version of yourself. You are growing, you are improving, and you are becoming someone stronger, wiser, and more confident, 1% at a time. If this message inspired you today, I invite you to take one small action right now. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, or share this episode with someone who needs a gentle push toward their own 1% improvement. Your support helps this community grow, and it reminds YouTube that our message matters. And if you want to keep practicing your English while building a stronger mindset, make sure to follow the channel so you never miss a new episode. Your next 1% can start with a single tap.